Good day to one and all. At the Kerala Master Printers Association's Print and Beyond seminar, today on this 24th of February 2024, I'm delighted to be a part, and I'm here, albeit virtually, to spend some time with you all and share some thoughts on this rather important yet much less explored topic of print and beyond. First of all, I'm happy to welcome all the delegates from other states and from other countries to Kerala. We, the God's own country here, do consider each and every one of you as equivalent to the divine power and energy within each one of us, and we hope and pray that you experience the spirit of goodness and wholesomeness in your time here in Kerala. As the name suggests, print and beyond is definitely the topic of the day, is definitely the need of the hour. I'm certain that each one of you here who have hours and days and weeks and months and years of practice in this field would have more insights into this topic than I do. But I'm here to offer some suggestions to each one of you, both from the perspective of a layman who has grown up in an era where printing technology was probably the most marvelous thing human beings had ever invented, to being in a generation where digital innovations take the cake. So that is the layman's perspective I would like to put across. And secondly, in this rather short session, I would also like to impress upon you the amazing world of opportunities that are about to open up in front of you in the way of the Vizhinjam International Seaport Limited in Trivandrum, which I have the opportunity to steer ahead at this point of time. So this is also to welcome each one of you into the fold of ports and allied industries in Kerala, which is going to be a game changer in the economy of the state and the country as a whole. So first things first, yes, welcome to all of you to Vizhinjam as well, because we are going to commission the port this year itself in 2024 and start the commercial operations. And as you would guess, a standalone port would be of no value if the auxiliary and ancillary industries around the port area doesn't develop in a comprehensive fashion. We do have a blueprint for that which we are going ahead with, but we are definitely seeking suggestions as well as interventions from each one of you, because as we know, as I mentioned in the introduction, God's own country of Kerala is definitely looking out for environmental friendly industries in the port related areas as well as the hinterland, and also inclusivity being one of the main priorities of any sort of development that we might steer ahead along the way. So I think to fit the bill, printing as well as beyond printing is definitely going to be a master stroke in this area. Let me explain how. For that, I would have to come to the first point of the layman's perspective, from where this logic would actually flow in. So, I remember as a child being fascinated by the feeling of catching hold of an old book and whiffing away the smells from the library and owning up every little story and every little character from the bookshelves. And that is probably the most valuable and mesmerizing memories of childhood that I have ever had. And sometimes in this age and era, I do feel that children of the new generation do miss out on that. The books have always given a much more wholesome experience. At the same time, it has left a lot to our own imagination, thereby introducing creativity into our own experience, which albeit is, not available in the modern age of information technology, where you have information as well as creative illustrations which is strewn all around you, and much less is left to your imagination which could spur your creativity. So as a child, I think the whole idea of seeing, of reading, of absorbing anything on print was a huge source of inspiration for me. And probably that is one thing, as much mundane as it might sound, a well printed book would always inspire me to read a few more pages than a badly printed book would. When I mean print, it includes everything right from the texture, to the newsprint, to the weight of the book, to the font, to the layout, to the design, to the intensity of the ink, to the binding, and every little factor, every little element, every small detail that you have paid attention to really has an influence in the hands of the recipient. That is a limited point I wanted to drive home. That even as a child, I have been someone who has, looked at each and every aspect of a book, of a banner, of a brochure, of a notice, whatever it be. Sometimes I feel like, it's like cooking. Printing is something like cooking, because a lot of us probably want to cook the same dish and might end up cooking the same dish, but it tastes different. Even with the same set of ingredients, one payasam would definitely taste better than another, or one piece of cake might taste different from the same Black Forest cake made in a different bakery, right? So even if the ingredients are the same, even if the ways that we walk are the same, the final product tastes different. And printing is something which is so personal and which is so customized in my eyes. It might be the same set of words, but in the hands of the printer, there is a certain sense of magic which is inexplicable, which makes the content much more attractive or much less acceptable. And that is where your role goes beyond just the mechanics of printing, wherein you put your heart and soul into it and you actually feed in to every fine detail of printing. And trust me, it does make a huge difference in the hands of the recipient. I'm certain that, looking at printing as a business is probably the fact that would consume much of your time, but I implore hereby to each one of you to look beyond business in the field of printing, because the true value addition actually comes from these nuances, and it does make a world of difference in the hands of the recipient, and that is definitely going to count in for your success. So when you talk about print and beyond, I am certain that this was not what you meant by print and beyond, but my first request to each one of you is to look at printing beyond a business opportunity. Put in your soul into it, put in your creative spirit into it, put in your love into it, and pay attention to details, and it will definitely show up. And that is definitely a sure shot towards success as well. So, coming to the changes in the world of printing, as I grew up, I think, we all witnessed this huge revolution which is the IT revolution, which has transformed humankind like none other. One of my favorite authors, Pico Iyer, famously said, the information technology revolution came without an instruction manual, which is actually quite true, right? Again, instruction manuals or that fine print, which reads as the disclaimer, is often, I would say it is the printer's trick to keep that information away from the readers. Anyway, so as he says, the information technology revolution surely came without an instruction manual, that in the initial days, all of us as a society grappled with several issues and several problems in regarding how to use the information technology effectively and what to use it for. I think one of the industries that has been heavily affected by this information technology revolution is the printing industry. But at the same time, let us not neglect the benefits that the printing industry has had in the era of this digital transformation as well. Printing as a science has developed much more now, which definitely adds brownie points from a business perspective. Printing in large scale has become much easier nowadays than what it was in the earlier days. But apart from that, the scope of printing as a business and as a career has expanded so much beyond our imagination, in fact. And there, when you say print and beyond, the first item that ticks in my head is definitely packaging industries. In the era of online technology, I think all of us rely so much on e-commerce, and e-commerce definitely thrives. Whatever be the product, whatever be the content, e-commerce definitely thrives on packaging. And printing industry has got a huge role to transform the entire packaging industry in this country. And India as a nation, I think, is yet to develop ingenious ways of environmental friendly packaging. We have a long road to go in the packaging industry. Integrating printing and packaging industry is definitely an area that requires more exploration, more collaboration, and more brainstorming. And that is my second request to each one of you, to put in your energy, your thoughts, and your innovative spirit into the area of integrating printing and packaging technologies. We are also talking about, packaging and printing in the era of, say, 3D printing even, And from the perspective of handling a port, I would say that is definitely something that has got humongous opportunities as well. When you talk about cargo and containers and ports, packaging definitely comes in as a key ingredient for any kind of operation in the port. A packaging hub in the vicinity of a port is definitely a much sought after sector, or an industrial park which specializes, say, going with the ethos of Kerala, something like an eco-friendly packaging hub. If we could develop that, nothing like it. And it's definitely an area which requires more attention from each one of you. And I hope that you would be equally interested in promoting eco-friendly printing and packaging practices as we are here. So, that is definitely one invite to each one of you to come up with innovative printing and packaging integrated solutions for activities that would actually happen in and around the seaport. And even talking about 3D printing, the kind of, I also happen to head the Kerala Solid Waste Management Project, which is a World Bank project, which is one of the flagship programs of the state, where we are, trying to sort out and find solutions for the long conundrum of solid waste management that we have been facing. And to talk about printing as to how that can actually contribute towards solid waste management, um, we could actually even look at 3D printing with recyclable plastics, wherein even that could be used for packaging. We could merge all these together. And even in solid waste management industries, especially in maritime waste, 3D printing has got a huge role to play. This is being explored and being done in European countries and countries abroad as well. So that is another model which we could definitely look into and follow in order to ensure that we have a green shipping zone and a green port as well. The plans for which is being done underway right now. So the crux of the matter is that Print and Beyond definitely looks into the aspect of diversification of printing. From the era of Gutenberg, from the era of, books and newsprint and, notices and flyers and cards and invites, we have moved into a completely different era now. That is not to undermine the value of every small, printout that we would hold in our hands, but I think Print and Beyond definitely points towards diversification of printing. And when I say diversification, it includes diversification of the print substrate. It includes diversification of the print products. It includes diversification of the print technology. We are in an era where we are actually looking at using artificial intelligence in printing. So, it requires a lot of entrepreneurship and a lot of enterprising spirit in each one of you to actually be able to push forward Print and Beyond in all these three directions when it comes to diversification, whether it be substrate, whether it be the product, whether it be the technology. So, here is hoping that this gathering of the master printers in Kerala and beyond definitely will look into these various aspects of diversification of printing and come up with innovative solutions and innovative technology and innovative products which would suit the need of the day and contribute towards making this world a better place and continue to spread happiness through your work. Thank you so much for having me over, and I would like to place my apologies for being unable to come there in person. But yes, as I said, this is the era of information technology and digital transformation. So, through this virtual mode, I am extremely happy to announce that I formally declare the Kerala Master Printers Association's 8th edition of Print and Beyond open. Thank you so much and have a great time.